On recent Apollo, Triton, and Solus tools, you're now able to upgrade the tool software over the air. So let's walk through the process on how to do that with this Triton D10. All right, so this tool does need an upgrade, and we can see at the top it's downloading right now. The little down arrow indicates that it is downloading. So we'll go into Tools, and then we'll go down here to where it says Software Updates, and it'll show us that it is downloading the software update right now. So once that's done, we'll then be able to install it. But once it's done, you'll see a check mark up on the top. And all of this, by the way, can happen in the background. Just leave the tool on, plugged in, and you can just let it download and unpack. And then it's time to install. So we'll click Install Now. And then we have to agree to the terms and conditions of the software. Hit Agree. And then it'll restart a couple times. And install. Okay, once the install is complete, then we need to restart the scanner. And once it's done, we're done, all up to date. So there we are, tools already up to date, and this is something that you can do yourself in your shop. You can update it automatically. You don't have to wait for your Snap-on representative to come by. And like I said, you just do it by yourself. Hello everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining our diagnostic training session today. And if you have any questions throughout the session, if you're joining us on Zoom, just look at the top of the bottom of your screen, wherever your Zoom controls are. You should see a little button that says Q&A, type in your question there, hit submit, and I'll get to those at the end of the session. If you're joining us on YouTube, just feel free to use the live chat function in there, and I'll get to those at the end as well. So my name is Jason Gabrinas. I'm one of Snap-on's National Diagnostic Technical Trainers. Been in the training department, the last 12 years or so, traveling around North America, helping techs and shop owners get the most out of their diagnostic equipment. Before I did that, it was a couple years as a diagnostic sales rep with Snap-on, so I had about 30 different franchisees I worked with, as well as the shops that they serviced, in order to help everyone get the most out of their diagnostic needs. Then before that, it was 8 years at Subaru, so worked in a dealership, and just over time, I guess, became that default diag guy in the shop. So I always ended up with the drivability problems, the intermittent problems, the weird wiring problems that would show up on those cars. And that's really where I cut my diagnostic teeth, was trying to figure out all those weird head scratcher type cars that would come into my bay. And before that, a bunch of other miscellaneous wrenching jobs. Been about 30 years underhood experience for me. So our topic at hand today is we are continuing our OEM-specific ADAS series we've been doing this year, and it's all new this week. So we're talking Mercedes-Benz is the next OEM up for grabs for this. So as we would know, as you may imagine, Mercedes does have a reputation of having complex systems on their cars, and actually, kind of being ahead of the curve in the industry and some of the technology they put in the cars. So you'll see the years of these cars that we're talking about still could be further along than some 2025 model year vehicles. But anyways, much like anybody else in the industry, they use radars and cameras and ultrasonic sensors. One unique thing with them that I saw in there is one of the cars uses what they call night view, so it's a night vision camera as well as the regular camera. So they still have the same combinations though: adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, front and rear cross traffic alert, front view, rear view, 360 view camera, and night view, like I said, and park assist on the vehicles, the ultrasonic sensors. So the first vehicle we're going to talk about tonight is going to be the 2013 C-Class. So you think of 2013, going through this series, you'd think of 2013, they probably don't have a whole lot, but like I said, it's Mercedes. So they have 3 radars on it, 1 in front for adaptive cruise control and 2 in the rear for rear blind spot monitoring. 5 cameras. They have the normal up in the top of the windshield front view camera. They got a rear view camera for backing up and 360 view, so they got cameras in the mirrors as well. And then ultrasonic sensors. It has both front and rear park assist on this vehicle, so it's going to have 8 ultrasonic sensors on there. So let's go first through the camera there. The front lane recognition camera. It's up in by the mirror as usual for most vehicles. And for that, we are going to find that in the multifunction camera right there. Right. So there's a multifunction camera unit. And then if we have codes and data, of course, but if we want to get to any resets, relearns, things like that, we go into functional tests. And there's a special function in there for the calibration of this camera. So it's essential that the multifunction camera is fastened to the screen correctly. They're talking windscreen. Please check this by removing the plastic cover above the rearview mirror. Check that all fixings are secure and cameras fitting correctly. Please ensure the vehicle is parked on a flat surface with no additional load. Adjust each wheel to correct tire pressure. Headlamps must be switched off. Steering must be pointing straight. And all doors must be closed and ignition on. So if any of these goes out of whack, it's not going to work. And then it says use an ADAS recalibration system. So this needs a target for this. And then if it's a 166 chassis, which is a certain chassis they might have, enter 999 or else the correct distance. So distance from the camera to the target, you would have to enter it there. You just hit edit, type it in. So in this case, I entered 680. You'd hit continue. And now it knows how far away it is. Now, if the calibration process is aborted while process is running, the fault code will be stored in the ECU's fault memory. And then do you want to start the calibration process? So it's going to make sure everything's set up, the target's where it needs to be, everything's good before you hit yes. And then when you hit yes, of course, you can just roll on and do the calibration. Next one's front radar. So the front radar unit's behind the grille, just like on most vehicles, it's going to be just kind of in the center of the grille there. And of course, that would be listed under radar sensor control unit or collision prevention assist, I suppose. So Distronic, what am I talking about? So Distronic right there. That's what they call their adaptive cruise control system, is Distronic. Right, so I know what I clicked on. I probably should have highlighted it, but so you got Distronic there. Codes, data, functional tests. We go into functional tests, we have adaptations, and then we can do the initialization of the controller itself, or the calibration of the Distronic by means of a test drive. So in this case, we chose the test drive. It says 2 technicians will be required to perform this road test. Following preconditions must be observed in order for the angle of vehicle to target object detected to be valid. They want a straight, flat stretch of road, freeway or motorway, so we don't need a target in this case. Possibility of a slight slope in the road. Vehicle speed must be between 80 and 120 kilometers an hour. You must pursue the car ahead at a distance of approximately 60 to 80 meters with Distronic switched on. Ensure that you follow the vehicle in front as directly as possible, slight later offset in the vehicle in front. When you think you're within the conditions, you may continue and actual and specified values will be displayed. If Distronic Plus is activated during sensor adjustment, dashes are displayed on the multifunction display. Following situations can delay the adjustment procedure. Travel through a tunnel, heavy vehicle acceleration, cornering, route with few target objects, and the ESP function must not be switched off, so you need your stability control, right? So you'd hit continue, and then it would roll through. So you need 2 technicians because you cannot hit continue until those parameters are met. So you got to drive, and when you think it's done, then you're going to have your buddy hit continue there and continue on. Now, rear radar mounted on the rear bumper fascia. You can see that right there. There's two of them there. Yeah, that would be in the radar sensor control unit. Now, in this case, there is no reset relearn available for that. It's kind of a plug in and go. So just plug them in, and codes and data available, but nothing else. No other resets or relearns needed. 360 camera is going to have some in the mirrors, right? So we got got a close up of one right there, the bottom of the mirror. So it's got one in each mirror, one in the front, one in the rear. And that's going to be under the 360-degree camera. Codes, data, functional tests, special functions, and there's a 360-degree camera, and there's a transfer of calibration values. So procedure must only be carried out if the 360-degree camera control unit is replaced. The old control unit can still be interrogated. It's sufficient to perform an automatic initial startup. Old control unit still needs to be installed. New control unit must be available. Please note this will only transfer the calibration values. So it'll pull the calibration values off the old one, and you'll be able to install the new one and paste them in there, basically. So we'll go continue. And then if you have an issue with it, control unit 360-degree camera control unit is not calibrated or incorrectly calibrated. Calibration values are invalid. Abort the process, install a new control unit, perform the initial setup, and perform the calibration drive. So in this case, once again, it's a calibration drive. It is not, I don't need any sort of targets or anything for that. Rear camera, no calibration needed for that. But that's going to be in the backup camera there, codes and data. And then park assist, going to have multiple sensors all around the vehicle, 4 in the front, 4 in the rear bumper. And that would be controlled with the Parktronic unit. So codes, data, functional tests. There are some actuator tests for like the chime and stuff, but we have special functions for manual settings. So we can change the volume that happens when the front, frequency of the front, rear volume, rear frequency, with the license plate bracket, because I guess theoretically if the bracket's too wide, if you've seen some of these European license plates, it can be kind of wide. You can change the width of the license plate bracket, whether or not you got a trailer hitch on the vehicle, and then you can review the coding of the module as well within there. So lots of available functionality, even just with the park assist. I think that's pretty good. Next one's a 2013 E-Class. So once again, you think 2013, not very complex, but this is the E-Class, and that's one of their higher level vehicles. So it is going to give you maybe some extra bells and whistles you might not necessarily have. So we got 4 radars on this. So rear blind spot monitor has 3, and adaptive cruise control has 1. 6 cameras. So we got the front view, rear view, and around view, the 360 view. So that's 4 cameras. And then night view is 6. And then, of course, we have one in the front for the 360 as well. So that gives us 6. And there's 12 ultrasonic sensors on this one. So 6 in the front, 6 in the rear on this vehicle. Once again, regular front camera is going to be up there on the driver's side by the mirror. It's going to be the same deal on the multifunction camera. I don't think there's any different functional tests. We go into special functions, and there we go. It's going to go through the same process we would have gone through on the previous car. Night view camera is going to be on the other side. So that's on the passenger side. So we see we have the driver's side over there. We got the passenger side over there. This is a infrared camera for night view. So there is a night view assist section right there. Functional tests, special functions, night view assist calibration. So it's essential that it's fastened on the windscreen correctly. It's going to tell you the same thing it did for the other camera. So make sure you remove the plastic cover. Make sure everything's secured. Control unit must be installed. Camera must be installed. The camera lens cover removed. Vehicle must be standing horizontally on flat ground. Ignition must be on. Vehicle level adjustment. As it's going to walk you through vehicle level adjustment because it's got air suspension. Positioning and calibration aid. So there is a target for it, and then perform the calibration. So it's going to go through. It's going to make us wait 5 seconds. And then make sure the vehicle is parked on a flat surface with no additional load. Adjust each wheel to correct tire pressure. Headlamps must be switched off. Steering must be pointed straight. Doors must be closed and ignition on. Use the ADAS calibration system with a target. Position the ADAS recalibration system as close as possible to the bumper. If necessary, lift the housing of the headlamp aimer. Then position the calibration aid to the center of the bumper using the Mercedes star as a guide. Ensure the calibration aid is parallel with the bumper. Ensure unobstructed view for the camera. If necessary, clean the windshield and the area of the camera. Important notes, use the ADAS recalibration system of a height of 1,275 millimeters measured from the setup plane to the center of the crosshairs on the target. Ensure that ADAS recalibration system is not tilted horizontally. Spirit level on the calibration aid can be used for adjustment. Hit OK, start the engine, allow it to idle. Then it'll go through, and first thing it's going to do is going to set up the, make sure that it is level. So it's going to go through and level the vehicle using the air suspension. You hit start. And then it's going to, once the values stop changing, you're going to hit continue. And then it's going to go through into the actual function now. So please ensure the engine is not running. Ensure the ignition is on. The calibration process is aborted while running. Then fault code 5010 will be stored in the ECU's fault memory. So got to make sure, once again, everything is set up and ready to go before you hit go. Then you hit yes, and it'll go through the calibration process. Right. For more detailed instructions, follow the service manual. Front radar is going to be very similar to the other car. So that's going to be available in the Distronic. Then the rear radars, there are multiple radar units back here. There's 3 of them, actually, across the back. So that is outer rear intelligent radar sensor system is going to be that one. Codes data functional tests. And then there's special function in there for resetting of learned values. So this is one of the very few rear radars we've seen in this series that actually has a reset of the learned values. So radar sensor must be installed in the bumper and reset any previously learned values. So make sure everything's where it needs to be. Calibration drive will be required after resetting the learned values. Calibration drive may last up to 20 kilometers. This diagnostic unit does not have to be connected for the calibration drive. So basically you're going to set it for the calibration drive and drive it. So it's going to reset the learned values. It's going to say it's completed successfully, and then a calibration drive will now be required. You can continue, It'll exit the test. Like it said, you don't have to have the scan tool hooked up to the car at that point. You can back out of the car and then take the vehicle for a drive. There's a center rear radar in there, like I said, so we can kind of see that in the middle. It's going to be sitting there. So that's once again under the radar sensor control unit. And then we have the 360 camera, which is in the mirrors and the bumper and the rear there. So that's the camera 360 degree again. Once again, it is a calibration drive. Don't need to have a target for that. Park assist, multiple sensors. So there's 6 sensors in the front, which we can see here, and then there's matching 6 sensors in the rear. Guess they really want some good coverage there. And that's once again in the Parktronic system. Going to be very similar to the C-Class we looked at earlier. Then we're going to get a little newer, about 5 years newer, and we have the 2018 GLA-Class. This one's not quite as nicely equipped as the E-Class that's 5 years older, but 3 radars, 2 in the rear, 1 in the front, 5 cameras, front view, rear view, and 360 view, and once again, 12 ultrasonic sensors. There's 6 in the front and 6 in the rear. Front high side camera, it's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be pretty much the same thing though. And that's going to be once again multifunction camera. Front radars right behind the emblem, as most vehicles have nowadays. You may have noticed on a lot of the newer vehicles, the front emblem might be like a little translucent on a vehicle. That's just to help it with the radar, right? Being able to transmit the radar through. So that's going to be in the laser radar, actually. And there's a calibration that'll be in there. Not actually a laser. I don't know why some companies decide to do that, but that's what it is. Rear radar, very similar. So we have side radar and separate modules. So there's going to be codes and data in each. Rear camera, it's going to be under the backup camera. And that does have codes, data, functional tests and special functions there. It's going to have the calibration of the reversing camera, actually. Also the steering angle sensor, which is interesting, probably to do the lines on the thing. So please ensure the steering wheel is straight ahead. Please ensure that you perform the steering angle sensor recalibration prior to calibration of the reversing camera. So it is a requirement, that's why it's in there. Only continue if you have the appropriate calibration target available. Refer to workshop manual for details using the ADAS recalibration system. So you're going to continue. Current camera calibration is going to appear on the command display. This would be the driver display. Are the red overlay boxes within specification? Red overlay boxes should be roughly over the middle point of the 3 optics on the target, and the target looks kind of like that. So you set it underneath the bumper, and it's going to take a look at these targets and make sure you're going to make sure on the display whether or not they're where they need to be. 360 camera. Once again, that's going to be in the 360 camera. Codes, data, functional test, special functions. This one actually has a calibration of the 360 degree control unit as well. And then we can calibrate separate cameras or calibrate multiple cameras at the same time. We need to do that. Calibration is only required if one or more of the 360 cameras are replaced. Do you want to abort or no? Don't hit no. Calibration must be performed after replacing a component of the 360 camera. Continue will reset all calibration settings of the 360 camera and the camera control unit. Calibration drive can take up to 35 minutes. Do you want to start calibration? You can say yes. Clean the lenses of all 360 degree cameras. Outside mirrors must be engaged in the drive position. All the doors must be closed. Perform a calibration drive on as flat a route as possible. Vehicle speed must be in a range of 5 to 30 kilometers an hour. Poor weather conditions and visibility can impair and prevent calibration. Move the vehicle such as the field's vehicle speed and steering angle on the command display are shown in green. Enter the calibration is shown on the display with the symbol green check mark. So a lot of this takes place on the display itself. So the scan tool gets you into it. So you can see it on the display and you can see the calibration functions, but you would just use the actual display to see what's going on. Visible points line or other structures on the road surface accelerate the calibration process. So I would say they're probably going to recommend you do this in, say, a parking lot. Something like that. Then it'll say the calibration is running. Move the vehicle such as the field's vehicle speed and steering angle in the command display are shown in green. Camera calibrated green. Camera to be calibrated is yellow. Calibration failed is red. Progress bar is displayed at the bottom of the screen. Following operations must be performed after the calibration is complete. Ignition off. Leave the vehicle. Lock the vehicle. Wait until the camera cover is closed after a period of approximately 5 minutes. So this has fancy little covers that close over the camera. So you got to wait 5 minutes. After all aiming procedures, it's important to test drive the vehicle to verify proper operations of the system. So a couple little things in there in red. So just so you know, wait until the camera covers close. And then the park assist, 6 in the front, 6 in the rear. That's going to have the sonar in this case. It's going to be called the sonar system. So really no functional tests available for that function on that vehicle either. So good to know. Let's go live on the tool. Wrong tool. Close out of that and open the right tool. Make sure it's on. All right. We'll pull up our vehicles here. We'll do the C-Class first. So we'll be able to see in here, if we scroll down, we have all of our different functionalities down here. So say like the Distronic. I'm going to go in. There's multiple different radar functions available. But there's adaptations in there. There's a calibration, like we said. In this case, we don't have it. I picked the wrong one. Let's go back. One of the things with the simulator, it doesn't automatically call the one that's fitted to the vehicle because there's many different adaptations. So there we go. There's the test drive. It's going to tell you how to do it. We just talked about how to do it. So if we wanted to do that, let me see. I don't know if there's any ADAS on these. No ADAS on that one. Oops, I want to reload that vehicle. Let's go into repair info real quick. Take a look at our calibration menu. Let's go with the luxury model. And we have the ADAS menu. And for example, outside view camera needs a special tool. So if we go into after repair, it's going to show us how to calibrate things. Reversing camera. You need to calibrate the rear camera after replacing the reversing camera control unit, after the camera itself, after adjusting and removing the trunk lid, after removal of the front passenger mirror on vehicles with code 498 only in Japan, after changing the suspension, after working on the steering system, and then when using tires of a different diameter. So you'd have to go through and actually do that. Let's go and remove and replace, see what it says. Remove and install backup camera. Yeah, there's my target right there, right? Remove and install components, and so on. So yeah, there's the target that needs to be done. Initialize the reversing camera using a diagnostic system. During initial start of the reversing camera. So we can see there's a target for that. And let's see, actually, let's go into the E-Class. And I want to go into the night view camera. This might take a second to find. Oh, not the diesel. Well, the SS doesn't matter. Didn't really need the diesel, but it doesn't really matter, right? So this may still be with the camera. So let's say. Let's just say outside view camera for now. Reversing multifunction, backup camera. Okay, nothing there. We should have looked this up, huh? Night view system, there we go. So TSBs and wiring diagrams. So actually don't have the procedure in here. You'd have to call them. Image interference with night view. Diffuse light screen of the night view camera is missing the cover of the multifunction camera. So you can see right there might be a problem. There's the multifunction camera. There's a missing cover. And then should have a diffused light screen in it, I guess. So I've got to make sure that that happens. If it's missing, the cover must be replaced. So it just gives you a part number of the cover and what to do. And then the wiring diagrams will show you there. So there's more information in the scan tool than there is in the repair information at this time with that. So just so you know. Actually, let me just change the engine. I don't think it matters. It shouldn't matter, but we'll just double check it anyway. So we'll use the gas engine. I just want to double check, be sure. No, still the same. Let's look up camera. Just to see. Oh, that's much better. There we go. Just got to look up the right thing, that's all. Rear view camera, rear view camera. That's backup camera. Multifunction camera. So still not much on the night vision camera. So just as an FYI. And then lastly, we'll go with the GLA. That had a couple different things in here, right? Camera cover control unit. Remember how I said it had fancy covers over the camera? So there's actually a control unit for that. And codes data and functional tests. So let's see. Self-test of the camera cover unit. All right. Actuator test, probably a rear camera cover. Yep. So it doesn't get scratched, right? Always stop communication. Switch the key off and on like it tells you to do every time on a Mercedes. Okay. And then in this case, Parktronic should have some stuff in there too. Let's see. So many variants. So manual settings, that's your frequencies and volumes. So what's free? Oh, so it could change between 845 hertz or 962 hertz. Don't know why you might need to change it, but you are able to with the license plate bracket. So different designs can affect it. I can program the width. So is it this one, this one, this one, this one, or this one? Pretty interesting. So there we go. You can change the volume. 50, 65, 80, and 100%. So all sorts of little setup options available in there for the Parktronics. And this one's an 18. That might have some stuff in there. Let's see. Oh, no ABS on, no ADAS on that one either. That's all right. 360 camera. We talked about that already. So transfer the calibration values. I see I have a question on Zoom with the transfer calibration values. Yeah, so if you're replacing the control unit, the ECM itself, for the 360 camera, you can take the old calibration values out of the old one and paste them into the new one. So you don't have to worry about resetting up or recalibrating. It should just be plug and play at that point. So pretty helpful there. All right. So that is ADAS on Mercedes. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about next week. Next week, we're continuing with our all-new classes, and it will be automatic transmission operation and testing. We'll talk about the different sensors and solenoids and things that you might need with a transmission. We'll also talk about a couple different transmission models that aren't standard automatic transmissions, the CVT and the dual clutch transmission for the Volkswagen. We'll talk a little bit about those as well and what we need to do with those. So same time, as always, same place every Tuesday, 6 and 9 Eastern. If you want to join on Zoom, go to snapon.com/OT. Also, the nice thing, if you are on Zoom, you will get a certificate emailed to you the next day. So that's pretty nice. Able to have a nice takeaway that you can say, hey, I went to these classes and I learned a bunch of stuff. So I know a lot of people like that. So if you do join on Zoom, that is an option. Otherwise, the 6 p.m. class goes live to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SnapOnDiagnostics. And then the the 9 p.m. class goes to our Facebook page. So it's facebook.com, and it's Snap-on Diagnostics training, tools and training. Snap-on Diagnostic tools and training. There we go. So that's the 9 p.m. Eastern class. Join me if you will. Also, if you want to see any of the other episodes in this series, this is currently episode 121 that's recording right now. They are all available on our YouTube channel, anywhere from intro to ADAS through diesel emission systems operation and everywhere in between. They're all roughly half an hour long, depending on the amount of content in there. So there's a playlist for live training in there as well. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe. A lot of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel, so we would appreciate it if you would do that. Also, do we have your email address? If we do not have your email address, you may be missing out on some interesting information. So things like technical focus articles, SureTrack blogs, quick tips, new product releases. They send out my training schedule periodically as well. So scan that QR code. It'll bring you to another page where you can enter in your particulars and you can start receiving this valuable email content. Next, let's go to Q&A. Like I said, we did have one question on Zoom. I'm pretty sure I got that one. Yep. So transferring value to the new part. Absolutely, that's what it's doing. All right, Nick has been very active on YouTube tonight. So Nick is from the UK. It's very late there, but he always watches these live. So hello, welcome, thank you very much. JLE Lobo, thank you for watching as always. And Hussein Hadim, yeah, I know I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name, dude, but you're always here too. So thank you very much. I appreciate all my viewers. So. If you don't watch, then I don't get to do this, and I really enjoy doing this. So the more to watch, the better off we'll all be. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. And that leads me to thank you. Thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any other questions, you can always leave a comment, send an email, that sort of thing. Check me on Facebook too. You can send a message that way. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Send it through the page. So with that, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see you next week for automatic transmissions. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Have a nice night and take care.